Hi everybody. Tomorrow I get the opportunity to do a presentation for the University of Memphis Innovation Showcase in the UC, I think room 350, beginning at 12:20. And I'm going to talk about how I've used Kahoot or gaming to replace lecturing and went from a 43% failure rate to 0. Goose eggs. So I wanted to give you guys a real quick overview of what you're going to see tomorrow. So the problem started back in 2007 when our university started maintaining pass rate, digital records of pass rate. Since 2007, there's been a 43% failure rate on first attempts in this kinesiology course and a nearly 50% failure rate on second attempts. So the solution was to incorporate active learning. So what I decided to do was to test out Kahoot and use that in lieu of lecturing. That went so well that this semester in my exercise physiology class I actually made quizzing 30% of their grade. So the Kahoots were the test bank. So we went through the test bank questions and we used that in lieu of lecturing, and we only stopped and talked about what students didn't know. You can go to Kahoot.com to create Kahoots. If you just want to join and play, you can go to Kahoot.it. The other thing that I added to my courses from this experimentation back in the fall of 2017 was project-based learning, which makes up 20%. So 50% of my students' grade come directly from active, engaged learning. Another 20% comes from the activities we do in class, and then the other 30% comes from midterm and final, 15% each. So I've shared the project guidelines. Here's the tiny URL if you're interested in seeing the full project guidelines I created, and then a link to see actual student projects. Most of them are really, really fantastic. My students have worked very, very hard, so I would really appreciate it if you guys took a look at them and then maybe shot me a message and shout it out to my students or to a particular group that you really liked. So the results, we played 12 Kahoots. Students played them a total of 30 times, these different 12 Kahoots. They earned 25 million points, and 15 students out of a class of 23 actually earned 1 million points themselves. So there was a total of 12 quizzes, a quiz for each Kahoot that we played. Students attempted their quizzes. In the fall, they only had 3 opportunities, and so they attempted their quizzes a total of 509 times. So 23 students attempted quizzes 509 times. They were set to a limit of a 3 total max, keep your highest score. So the average attempt was 42.4 attempts per quiz. And the average grade on my quiz grades was a 91.5. So this was done to encourage students to persist and to keep working and keep studying and stick with it. So the midterm grades, as you can see, there were 8 A's, 10 B's, 3 C's and 2 D's on the midterm exam, and then the final exam, you can see the numbers there, 4 A's, 12 B's, 6 C's, and only 1 D. 0 goose eggs all the way across for F's. Pretty impressive. The final grades for the Kines Fall 2017 class were a total of 13 A's, 7 B's, 3 C's, no D's, no F's. Very, very proud. So question became, could I replicate that in a class of 120 students? So an exercise physiology class that I designed from the ground up had 11 quizzes in this course, 3,066 attempts. These students were given unlimited number of attempts, and they got to keep their highest grade earned, and the quizzes actually close on the night before the study day, so the actual last day of class at midnight. Students averaged 25.5 attempts per quiz, so each quiz was taking at least 25.5 attempts, additional attempts. And then the average grade has been a 90.9% over the 11 Kahoots. So at midterm, we had 60 A's. When we had to file the midterm progress report, I had 60 A's, 35 B's. You can see it there, 1 F. And as you look across the midterm exam, no F's, only 1 D on the midterm, lots of A's and B's, and a very small number of C's. Final exam we're in the process of now. I opened up my final exam a little early to give students more time and more choice. If they were ready to take it, they could go ahead, but they also have all the way to the last day to take exams. And these are the number of grades that I have to this point. 21 grades completed. 12 have been A's. Amazing to me. This too was a very high failure course with a very high failure rate. I think a little bit over 50% on first attempt. So 8 students on final exam so far have made a B. 1 has made a C. No D's or F's. So I'm praying that that continues. And then the current grades. So right now, as of the time I built this slide, 81 students have an A in this class, 29 have a B, 7 have a C, 3 have a D, but they still have a little time and I have not finished grading everything. So students get to resubmit. I teach for mastery. So they can resubmit and resubmit. I give them feedback. They go back and work on their assignments and resubmit. So a lot of work, but I really think that it improves learning. So we'll see. So the solution to, I think, a lot of the problems was not only, you know, the active learning, but in particular the Kahoot. So as you can see here, you know, students take their phones. I project questions up on the board. They submit the answer based on the color. And then I get this nice little feedback over here that lets me know how students perform. So formative assessments all the time, continuous assessment. I'm able to stop and talk about things that students do not know, and I'm able to move on when students do know. So we don't waste time boring people. Nobody wants to listen to what they already know. And the good thing about this is I'm able to actually make students lead the class. Someone tell me, you know, why red is not the correct answer, or why too big, blue is not the correct answer. And so when I engage students that way, A, they enjoy it more, but B, they also learn it better when they turn and explain. So let's play. Let's go play a game of Kahoot. Join me, won't you?